everyone. This is Randy Nunez, your host on Between the Chalk Lines podcast. You can find on YouTube, Amazon Music, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and more. Look us up on anything that you listen to or watch. We're probably there. Again, Between the Chalk Lines. And you follow us on X at BTC Lines. Too big of a name to a handle, so they had to make it short. And on Instagram, TikTok, you can find us at Between the Chalk Lines. Very simple. Don't have a Facebook page up yet, but I do have a website. You can also listen to all our episodes. We're on episode 32 now, recording. You just listen to all 31 episodes and this one that comes out on Saturday, 9 a.m. Pacific, noon Eastern, at www.betweenthethalklines.com. I have articles as well that I don't write too often, but when I have a piece that I want to write up and post up, it'll be there. I will be putting up a piece for the All-Star game. So in about a month or so, we'll see where everyone is as far as individual stats. Today, I wanted to talk about some teams and how they're doing as far as the season's looking. Yesterday on Thursday the 8th, Thursday the 9th, we only had 7 teams play. The Diamondbacks beat the Reds. The Brewers beat the Cardinals. The Twins beat the Mariners. The Royals beat the Angels. The Rockies beat the Giants. Astros beat the Yankees, and the White Sox beat the Guardians. I wrote a piece on Jawn.com. That's DJAWN.com. Look at their blog section. You'll see a lot more written pieces that are posted there than on my own website for BetweenTheChalklines.com podcast. But BetweenTheChalklines.com is the only spot for the podcast player that has all of our episodes. So I wanted to talk about some of these teams that I mentioned and then look at all 23 other teams in Major League Baseball. This is a who's in, who's out as of May 10th, Friday, 5:30 p.m. on Pacific. And there's a few that I can just give you a clear answer as of yes, no, who's out, who's in. Who's out? I'm going to start with American League. American League East is a very tough division to say who's out. I do not have a clear answer as far as who's out. I know that the Toronto Blue Jays are a few games under 500, but they're also only 7.5 games away from first place. It's not like Baltimore Orioles or New York Yankees have 30 wins in May, first week of May. If they did, I would be more comfortable saying that the Jays are out of playoff picture. We move on to the Central. Chicago White Sox just got their 10th win yesterday on Thursday. So as of Saturday, they might have 11 wins, but I can easily say with 100% certainty the Chicago White Sox have just been out of it since day one. It seems like. I know that we had Stephanie Shrimpluski on a week or two ago, and she knew it. She knows that the Southsiders are just out of it. So, out, White Sox. AL West. The LA Angels of Anaheim have one more win than the Houston Astros. But they're only half a game ahead of the Astros as well in the West. my bracket, which I've already put together, and I may or may not post this in an article on a website if you look at it. Um, it's very interesting for 2024. I'd say I actually have two teams from the West going to the playoffs, and probably two teams that you don't figure will be going to the playoffs. Angels, they're out. Mike Trout had knee surgery. There's no timeline. That's for his return. Anthony Rendon pulled a hamstring. No timeline as far as his return. This seems to be a yearly thing. They get injured in first month or two of the season, and we never see them again. So the Angels are relying on trades. They just got Kevin Pillar, who was I think released or designated for assignment by the White Sox. So he came over to Anaheim on a 1 year deal. Um, they made a trade with the Braves, who are a big trade buddy of theirs, for a player to be named later and cash considerations for Luis Guillermo, infielder. He is playing third base right now. We have, I believe, here Adrianza, who is from AAA, playing third base, and we have Nolan Shanuel, first base, Brandon Jury, who's out, Luis Rengifo has been out, Taylor Ward, left field, Mickey Moniak, center field, Joe Adell, right field, and then have Willie Calhoun, who they just signed as well. So the Angels are just a ragtag team, barely above AAA quality, uh, and the Oakland A's are going to be this year standing. They will probably be a top three or top five draft pick team as far as going into 2025 draft. And the Houston Astros, you ask me, is it too early? It's May 10th, you say. Randy, what are you thinking? You know, I know they're last place. I know they're dead last. Are they out of the playoffs? And I have to say, looking at Oakland, Seattle, and the Rangers ahead of the Angels and the Astros, yeah, I mean their pitching is not doing it. Their offense is not doing it. Their offense is slightly better than the Angels, and that's not saying a lot. They have four more runs scored throughout the season than the Angels did. But they've also given up just five less runs than the Angels pitchers have, which is not that good. So it's going to be weird to see the Rangers and the Mariners going to playoffs, I think, for the West. Um, Possibly. I mean, the Mariners still have some work to do. They have to start scoring a lot more runs. Their pitching is doing fantastic, amazing as far as pitching goes. The offense needs to pick it up. And then they might be able to sneak in via the wild card. They are seventh overall American League in teams, 3 spots wild card for every division. So you're gonna get three of the division winners, or excuse me, four division winners, and then sorry, four wild card winners. So when we get into that, I'll explain it a little bit more. I'm looking at the numbers here, looking at the numbers now, today, May 10th, again, stressing that point in my logic. But moving on to AL East. Again, Baltimore New York Yankees. Those two are probably making it to the playoffs. I know that the Red Sox and the Rays are not too far behind, but I mean the Yankees have 25 wins. Baltimore has 24 wins. You're looking at the Central. Guardians have 24 wins. The Twins have 22 wins. The Royals have 23 wins. So we're looking at all the teams that have 20 plus wins, and you're giving them a good chance of making it to the playoffs as far as being either division winner or the wild card. Moving on to the National League, we're going to go from east to west again. National League West, East, Philadelphia Phillies, hands down in the playoffs. 26 wins, the most wins of any team other than the LA Dodgers. But they do have a better winning percentage because they've lost one less game going into 10th. So the Braves, who I have as the World Series winners of 2024, are 22-12. Again, a team that's a 20 plus game winner right now going into mid May. So the Braves going into the playoffs, most likely. The Miami Marlins, who just got their 10th win recently, are out of the playoffs. They're done. They're gone. New York Mets playing 500 ball. Washington Nationals 500 ball. You may as well count at least the Mets out. Most likely the Nationals as well out. I'm looking at the National League Central, team that I didn't expect. Milwaukee Brewers have come out running. They have scored the most runs in this division. They have scored 184 runs in 37 games going into the 10th. They have allowed the second least amount of runs. And I'll be surprised who has allowed the least amount of runs. They're not in second place or third place. Second place. Chicago Cubs are doing very good for themselves. They are right behind the Brewers as far as runs scored. They've scored 174, so just 10 runs behind them. Milwaukee Brewers have allowed their pitching staff have only given up 159 runs, while the Cubs have given up 161. So there's a 2-run difference there, and they are virtually tied for first place going into Friday. Only a half game difference there. The Pittsburgh Pirates, who started out really hot, is probably what's kept them in the race. But slowly dropping down. They've only given up 156 runs, and that's the least amount in this division. But they also scored the least amount in only 134 runs scored. So the Pirates need to really pick it up. They need to put the gas, high and just start scoring runs, or they're gonna fall out of the race. Central, you can knock out the Cardinals. They just lost Wilson Contreras to a swing. JD Martinez hit him in the arm, left arm fracture. He'll be out for several weeks. So he's an all-star catcher, and the Cardinals will be out without him for weeks. So they're gonna drop out of the race in May. NL West, the only other team with 26 wins in all of baseball is Dodgers. They have twice as many wins as they have losses. They've scored over 200 runs. That is more than all of the other teams in all baseball. No other team has scored more than 200 runs. They have only allowed 140 runs as far as their pitching staff, which is the best in NL West. But you have to look at who's behind them. San Diego Padres has scored 198 runs. Again, that is the best in all of National League behind the Dodgers. And if you look at the American League, nobody else has scored more than 190 runs except for the Rangers, who have 199. Um, just one more than the Padres. But they have allowed 182 runs. So when all is said and done, they should end up in about second place. They should stay about where they're at right now. 500 ball, 2020. Again, it's different when you're looking at, 18, 18, 1919. They're a 2020. They're a 20 win game team because they started out early with the Dodgers in Seoul, South Korea, and played the extra game that nobody else has. So they are 6.5 games behind Dodgers, but if they're better than, say, the Nationals or the Cubs, perhaps, in National League, there's going to be a lot of spots in that wild card round. So my seeding is rather interesting if you look at it now. I have this seeded quick. I have the Orioles as the number one seed in the American League. And then I have the Yankees as the number one seed Orioles, number two seed Guardians. They have a bye, so they go straight to the American League Division Series. And then I have the number 3 seed as the Rangers, number 4 seed as the Yankees, number 5 seed as the Twins, and finally I have the Mariners and the number 6 seed, rounding out that AL wild card, with the Rangers moving on to the Guardians and the Yankees moving on to the Orioles. And then I have Yankees, Rangers going on to the championship series, Yankees going to the World Series. And on the flip side, if we look at the National League, I have the Dodgers as a very obvious number 1 seed. And then I have the Phillies as a very obvious number 2 seed. And a 3 seed, I have the Brewers. 4 seed, I have the Braves. 5 seed, I have the Cubs. 6 seed, I have the Padres. I have the Padres beating the Brewers, being beaten by the Phillies. And I have the Braves beating the Cubs, Braves beating the Dodgers in division series, and Phillies Braves championship series. Probably goes 7 games, whatever, and then Braves going to the World Series, beating the Yankees for a Braves World Series title in 2024. That is just my prediction. That is my bracket for the 2024 Major League Baseball playoffs. I know that was a mouthful, but we're going to go over some of the winners of the March/April award winners. Player of the month, Mookie Betts for National League, and then we had Shota Imanaga was the best starting pitcher rookie in National League. Sorry, just double checking. So yeah, Mookie Betts was the best National League player. Very obvious. It was kind of everyone else and Mookie Betts. Um, you're just living in his world. Gunnar Henderson of the Orioles, best American League player in March/April. You're looking at pitchers. I think that Skubal got snubbed, even though I don't have the Tigers going to the playoffs, and I don't have Toronto going to the playoffs. Jose Barrios was the best American League pitcher of the month as far as Major League Baseball decided. Ranger Suarez of the Philadelphia Phillies, best National League pitcher of the month. Phillies had not lost a single game all of his starts in March and April. He had lost no starts in all of his seven, I believe, excuse me, 6 starts for March and April. And he also had a shutout, which was his first in 3 years. So, and then you have Zach Wheeler, who is already starting. If you look at May, he's 2-0, and he's got a ERA of 0.75 for Wheeler. So Zach Wheeler is probably going to be the National League Pitcher of the Month in May if he keeps it. Colin Cowser, Baltimore again, best AL Rookie of the Month. Shota Imanaga, easily NL Rookie of the Month for Chicago Cubs. I have both those teams, the Cubs and the Orioles, making it to the playoffs. I think what the playoffs need is a solid closer, and if they could get their hands on Mason Miller from Oakland, somehow pull Mason Miller away from John Fish's cold hands, and get them to Chicago, I think that the Cubs could be better than the 5 seed that I have them at. Obviously, having the Braves at the 4 seed is a little bit of a slight, but also looking at the numbers right now, East, Philadelphia, like I said, they're the best team in National League overall. If you don't look at runs scored, there's a 23 run difference between them and Dodgers. They're kind of just built to score runs. I mean, they do have 191 runs scored, Phillies. They're going to win their division. The Brewers or the Cubs could win the division. So Cubs, Brewers could be flipped. Dodgers, I don't see them being overtaken by the Padres or Arizona, but it is a possibility that Arizona does overtake San Diego, or San Francisco overtakes San Diego somehow. But those are big, long shots. Arizona and San Diego only have 1 game difference. Going back to the awards, Mason Miller, AL reliever of the month, and I had him personally as AL rookie of the month. Ryan Helsley, Cardinals. It's good for him. He was reliever of the month. But having a really really good reliever is not going to do it enough for the team. As we know, they just don't score a ton. They've only scored 127 runs this year. They've given up 168, which is the most in their division. And I just don't see a lot here changing. If anything were to change, it would be Milwaukee, Chicago Cubs flipping, in the Central Division, National League, and San Diego and Arizona flipping in National League West for second place. That's it. That's all I can see really changing as far as that division goes or league. In American League, I mean, there are a lot of teams really close to the top. You have Baltimore with 24 wins. You have New York with 25 wins. You have Cleveland with 24 wins. Then it starts to drop off. Minnesota with 22. Kansas City with 23. And Texas with 22. So I think all those, like I said, so it's three teams that go by winning their division, and then there'll be wild card teams, and that's three. So your top six, if you just started now, you have Baltimore, New York Yankees, Cleveland as your 1, 2, 3 seeds. And then your 4, 5, 6, you have the Twins, Royals, Rangers. I do not believe the Rangers will outlast the Twins. I mean, they're sandwiched right between the Guardians and Twins. So, Twins have to pick it up. They need to score more, give up less runs. I might be wrong there. The Royals might sneak in that Twins spot. So, that could happen. AL West, if Oakland somehow managed to close that gap and flip flop second place and take over the Mariners spot, they would be one of the last seeds, if not the last seed, in the American League as far as the wild card goes. As far as giveaways, do have one more giveaway. And again, Guardians bring up a Guardians card. I know he's out for the season, but Shane Bieber, orange, at 25, Topps Finest 2023 refractor. So number out of 25, 25. Someone should be able to get it. Leave a comment and a like and a follow, please. It helps. Helps with the algorithm and with Spotify and Amazon, Apple, all of that. Leaving a review helps as well. This has been your host, Randy Nunez. All baseball talk all the time on Between the Chalk Lines. I will catch you next week. Good time.